John Powell won't score a superhero movie, besides the two he already did, despite having the skills it takes to write a top superhero score and a knack for writing scores more popular than their movies. I've done the research to tell you why he can't be bothered and what it is he's really passionate about.
It's art that's moving.
John Powell has what it takes for this. Memorable themes, unique sounds, fun action scoring balanced with emotion, and especially flying music. He's received awards, even an Oscar nomination, for his best adventure scores. He always gives it his best effort, and the two superhero scores he's already done are more popular than the movies they're from.
What?
No matter the film or genre, he always does a good job.
Good job. Really good job.
Doing a Marvel hit would boost his popularity to another level, while making one of the most notable superhero scores to date, which many of his fans want to hear. But the reason he's not doing any isn't the lack of superhero movies being made. He doesn't want to, and it's not just superhero movies. If you look at his work, he's done fewer live-action movies over the years, for a reason.
It wasn't what I wanted to write, and if I'm going to spend my life away from the people I love, banging my head against somebody's film, trying to create the best music I can, I'd like it to be something that I guess I want to listen to.
Over time, he's gotten tired of scoring live-action and writing pulsing and minimalistic music, which isn't what he's geared towards. And you can't blame him, because those are all the traits of the Jason Bourne movies, and he did 3. And now that's what directors want him to do for these movies. It seems like this question has come up before.
Probably people always wonder why, I haven't done a Marvel film or something like that, Well, I did like X-Men, but,
If action is his reward, he's pretty tired of it.
I am so tired.
I'm just not interested in using the time I've got here to write music for endless fights anymore. I mean, I've done plenty of it.
Endless fights is a funny way to put it, since the title of one of the biggest superhero movies is synonymous with it. He doesn't want to score endless fights.
Marvel was on 22 already, but it's like...
This is how things are now. You and me trapped in this moment endlessly.
There are possibilities that could pull him in.
So if it was explaining something about the world, if it was explaining
something he calls subversive, but that idea could easily lead to the wrong thing.
My son was telling me about Deadpool, and I thought, oh, maybe that's subversive.
Oh, hello.
But no, it's just, I think, about violence again.
He might go see action films.
Do you go to the movies?
Oh, yeah.
So
yeah,
you
sure.
see everything that comes out
Yeah,
on television?
yeah.
And...
Yeah, just went to see Mission Impossible 17.
But that's different from having to break himself over the work.
You've got a 9-minute, 20-minute reel. I spent a lot of time, in those films when I would do it. Trying to really consider how to get the thing to flow and really kind of grease the wheels and then find that, that corner that you can take that resets everything.
It gets pretty old pretty fast.
Yeah. And I really do feel that the job of the composer is to make sure that doesn't happen.
He also knows to bring emotional investment into these action scenes, something he excels at with his chosen projects.
He would surprise me sometimes by coming in with a cue that was, it might be an action scene, and he was underscoring some emotional tragedy. Right. And I'm like, well, what are you doing? It's supposed to be driving. And then I sort of take a step back and I realize, oh, I get it. Like you're bringing dimension to something that was very one-dimensional. So I love that. I think that's where I began to sort of embrace John's storytelling sensibility.
Even so,
wouldn't it be better if I could write some music that just, elated people?
And that's the key here. These interviews reveal what he loves, which shouldn't come as a surprise.
I know I love animation. I'm a big fan.
And he gushes over it for minutes on end. You can really see why he does this.
I sit and I admire, 25 frames of animation when it's absolutely perfect, and you can sit there and you can go, that is just amazing animating.
It's not just work. He enjoys being a viewer on movies he's a part of, and he probably knows the animators by name because he cares to check.
And I look, and because it often tells you the names of the people, I sometimes look at who animated each scene or even each shot. You can really see the artistry.
You just won't hear him talk about superhero movies that way.
It's just the endless kind of fights.
I could go on about the endless fights, but
you get the point!
he really has a passion for animation different from live action.
What do you, both of you, each love about animation that you don't get in live action? Like, would the Dragon Trilogy work as a live action film with CG dragons? I mean, why was animation the perfect medium for this movie?
The acting. This is the crazy thing, is that I think there's very, very few performances of acting in live action that have ever been, for me, as good as some of the great performances in animation. I think some of the greatest actors have been animators. They're not doing it the way that you traditionally think of it. I see more of the pantomime of humanity that can go on in a face. I've seen it more in animated characters that speak in such a complex level. The great animation can do that. With animation, as a control freak, I love the idea of that, because you can keep going back and you can keep working on it until it's absolutely perfect.
Every little thing is created.
You know, I mean, you've probably had to swap animators on shots, because certain animators are going to get it and some aren't. You know, some can do really good animation, but for this moment, I need this person because they do it, and suddenly it all comes to light. And you understand not what the character says, but you understand everything above, below, and beyond and ahead of it. It becomes a dimension of the language of art.
He feels animation doesn't have to rely on endless fights.
You know, I mean, the whole point of fighting is so that it's a tension that you can then release. But we can create that in animation. You know, it just doesn't have to be quite as just about that.
So some of his projects might make you say, really? But it's something he chooses, and that's going to yield the best results.
Really good job.
He may have found something new, however. Last year, he scored his first documentary, Still, a Michael J. Fox movie, which he won an award for.
My first and last time I'll ever do a documentary that's way too hard.
Never mind. Apparently, he's found a challenge unique to documentaries.
There's no script. It's very hard.
I feel nature documentaries suit him pretty well. After all, he's spent his career working around the animal kingdom already, as long as there's a narrator. As for superhero movies, maybe he'll do another one. If the right director comes along with the right idea. He still does action if he likes who's involved.
Comic books. I was really focused on comic books. And my goal was to try to get to work for Marvel or DC one day.
And maybe the fights end. Besides, the two he's already done hardly speak for an entire genre.
Really don't like that word.
It's still fun to see what it would be like if he scored some recent superhero movies. Which I've imagined in this playlist. Thanks for watching.